Just check and see how the eyes will fit. So obviously, you're going to be starting off with a sphere. And yeah, if I shoved an eye in there, you'd see that's kind of how it's going to. That just doesn't look right. That looks very terrifying. Actually, that's not too bad. That might work. All right. So if I'm making an anatomically closer eye or more perfect eye, I'm going to have to focus on creating a couple of different definitions or physical definitions in the shape. I'm going to be working on creating a cornea, an iris, and a pupil. So the pupil is going to be that hole in the center of your eye, right? You guys know what pupils are?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then the cornea, what part of the eye is that? It's the what? Not the hole?
The cornea?
There's a lot of stuff that's not the hole.
The cornea is the white.
Like almost everything is not the hole. So the cornea is going to be actually referring to the lens around on the outside of the eye. And then you have the iris, which is going to be the part that kind of flattens out a little bit. Okay.
That's where the color.
So this is what we're going to be working on right here. So the way that I actually make my eye, I kind of take this part right here, the little flattened area, and I end up cupping it in just a little bit because I feel like it catches the light better when I'm rendering. So I actually like to make it look a little bit more pronounced than this actually is. But we'll be focusing on that. So let's go ahead and grab, let's do an edge. I'm going to bevel this little edge right here. I'm going to delete these edges here. It'll make it a little bit easier for me to work with these two edge loops. I'm going to take them and then move them back like that. And then here's kind of a trick that I think works pretty well when I'm working with cylindrical or spherical objects. So I want to actually basically grab this face loop and this series of faces right here. But like selecting each one of these faces can take a little while. So here's what I'll do. I'll do Control, right click, grow selection, grow. So I'm actually growing it, one direction out. You'll see it grabs all of these faces. Control, right click, shrink selection, shrink. And then you can hit G to shrink it in again if you need to. So it's kind of a way to grow it and then like shrink it back down and grab what was inside that selection. I'm going to flatten that out, hit Control E. I'm going to basically just extrude this inwards. Let's turn symmetry off. And then that's going to be effectively your eyeball. I want to crisp up this edge a little bit more right here. Hit 3, get a little bit better edge right there. And then the same thing right here. crisps up right there as well. And that'll be your eye. Now, keeping with this topology pattern, it gives you a opportunity when you rig it to create an eye rig. That actually will let you dilate the eye or contract it. So you have some opportunity there to have some deformation. But that's how I would make an anatomical eye. Okay. The cornea basically just sits on top of it. It's a duplicate of that sphere. And then I take the very front of that sphere and kind of pop it out a little bit. And you see how it's kind of creating a little bit of a point right here? That little point. So I don't necessarily want that. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And then just re-topo or plot out this area right here. And that'll create a much smoother deformation. And then hit 3. See how that smooths out a little bit? Actually, that's flattened, so let's round this out. Grab the smooth tool. And just kind of gently smooth that out. That'll work. Okay, so that's the eyeball. Now for him, like I said, he's not going to be able to accommodate a round eye. So what I want to do with him is to have a separate system. There's 2 possible approaches with this. So I'm going to take this eye and kind of flatten it out. And this is not going to be an eyeball that actually can rotate. It's just simply there to kind of fill up the area. And then the actual pupil, since he's not going to have a iris or anything like that, that's just going to be this little piece right here. And it'll just sit right there on the surface. Now, when rigging this, you could set it up to where the eye moves over the surface. So it looks like it actually looks around. So that's a possibility. Another possibility is taking a spherical eye with having that little pupil dot on the front. Take both of these, group them with Control G. So they're not one object, but they are grouped together as and kind of operate as one object. And then you can go under Modify Center Pivot with the group and then flatten that. And what happens is when you rotate the eye, it actually rotates like a sphere would, but because we have a deformation, as in we're scaling in and flattening that eye, see how it rotates, but it's moving that pupil around. Do you guys see that? Guys, I'm showing you something here. Look at the screen. Do you guys see this? Okay. So this would be an option for doing a more cartoony eye, but it gives you the opportunity to still rotate it like a normal eyeball. So that could work. So actually, I'm going to go and take that group. And I'm going to move it into the area with the eye or the eye socket. And scale that down. So then I can rotate that around. It looks like a sphere rotating inside of there, but it's definitely not. Now, if I want to mirror this over, I'm going to duplicate that group that has basically the entire eye in it. Actually, I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to duplicate it. Ungroup it. So it'll have an origin point or have a pivot point at the origin. And then I want to go over to Edit, Duplicate Special. And I'm going to change my scale to -1 on the x-axis, since that x-axis is what is left to right for me. Duplicate Special. And there we go. So now I have two eyes. Any questions? No. All right, let's do teeth. So for him, it looks like their style, they just kind of fill it with white and then just do some lines in there. I need actual teeth, so I'm going to have pretty simplified looking teeth, but they're going to be, they are actually going to be teeth. Well, more like a bar with some detailing. So go ahead and grab a cube. This will actually start off with the gums. I'll do insert edge or insert edge loop tool. I'm going to open up the options for this, and I want to do a multiple edge loop option. I'm going to do, let's do 10 edge loops. Click, and you'll see it adds them in there automatically. Run a couple more. So that'll be my gums. And this kind of depends on if you want to do like individual teeth or just like a bar, depending on the style. But we can talk about doing either one of these. So I'm going to simplify this duplicate. So again, it's just super simple teeth. All right. You would make individual teeth again if the style calls for it. And depending how detailed you want to go, you would even be making like indentations around the gums for each one of these teeth to fit into. And let's smooth this out as well. All right, that kind of works. Smooth again. Okay. Drop that one right there. I'm going to go ahead and combine them. I'm just going to flatten them out just a little bit because they're just a little bit too A little bit too rounded for my taste. All right, that'll work. Okay. Yeah, so go and group them, and then I'm gonna do another duplicate special. So we get a full row of teeth. Now, I'm not gonna merge these into each other. They're gonna stay separate objects. It's gonna be a little bit easier to work with them, like texturing. I'm gonna go and take the gums. We'll see if anything else I want to do with this. A little bit thinner. Maybe something like that. All right, I'm gonna take the whole bar. Let's go under mesh combine. Now let's go under deform, nonlinear, bend. And this is actually a pretty cool little thing to work with, because you can do actually like curve objects. Depending on the rotation of the deformer. So if I rotate it to, let's see, rotate 90 by 90, I can get essentially a rotation that kind of fits what I'm looking for really, in terms of getting the inside of the mouth. And then if I move the object based on its relation to the deformer, you see how it changes the radius of that curve? So that is pretty useful. So let's grab that deformer again. Let's see. There it is. Okay. It's gonna go in a little bit much. A little bit wider. You can also play with the high bound and low bound. So if you want them to maybe not necessarily go as far with the bend, like where it kind of straightens out a little bit, you could do that. And I'm looking to really just kind of like match the curve of that mouth. Something kind of like that, maybe. And when I'm happy, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that object. So I have a duplicate that actually has that copy on there. And I'm going to grab bend handle. I'm just going to put this on a layer by themselves and hide them real quick. So I may want to come back and mess with it.
Looks like one of those endoskeletons.
Maybe that's part of David's backstory.
It's actually a fanatic character.
He's a wrestling Terminator.
I love when you're 3D model and you know, something you get a corner wrong, you flip through and you're like, oh, this is just the inside of your head.
Yeah, don't worry about this. It's just the inside of your head.
We'll never see.
All right, I think it's getting a little close to the edge right there. Make sure we're not clipping through anything. All right, that'll work for me. I mean, he's a cartoon character. He's gonna have some weird proportions. And if it doesn't scare children when he opens his mouth, really, what am I here for? So. You'll notice I'm not necessarily like shoving the teeth straight into each other, but if you close your mouth, you can feel your teeth kind of fit inside of each other, or not inside, but like behind, like in front and behind of each other. So it's kind of what I'm trying to replicate a little bit of right there. Well, naturally you have a very slight overbite. Like your incisors will come over the bottom incisors a little bit. Are they just like this?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
wore braces for like 6 years.
it's natural to have a little bit of one. It helps your teeth fit together. But I mean, if you want, we could have like an extreme underbite, like a barren unterbite. I miss that show so much. All right, let's do tongue. All right, let's do a tongue. I don't want to do a tongue with a sphere. I want to do a tongue with a cube. Have you guys seen the new season of Archer? It came out like a few weeks ago. You guys ever watch Archer?
To be honest, I really liked the Doma seasons, and then after World Cup, like everyone was kind of being a difficult, and I didn't like it, so I
Oh,
kind of stopped watching.
I had a student a few years ago refer to Archer as that old cartoon.
Uh,
Didn't appreciate that. It went off, I think, in like,
it's done like 13 seasons.
yeah, but like, I guess it's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like, it doesn't feel like it's an old show to me.
Yeah, doesn't feel old.
Because I actually went to grad school with one of the guys that worked on Archer.
Oh. The first episode of Archer.
2009.
2009.
That's not that.
That's
not old.
You were.
Yeah, but you're young, so.
I'll be 22 in November.
Yeah, it's not old.
That doesn't seem old to me.
It's not that nice.
I was literally starting grad school in 2009, so. All right, let's go and turn on symmetry back again. So I'm just kind of making like a very vague tongue shape. It's just something just to kind of like waggle around in his mouth while he's talking. It's not going to do anything super interesting. Anyway, I started watching it and it's really weird with not having his mom on there anymore since the actress passed away. She was always a highlight for me.
Story, kind of like how they handled, Woodhouse.
Oh, of him passing away. And they, well, yeah, they just had like a Woodhouse like hologram for a while, didn't they?
Well, there's.
Or it was like a
few ways
robot or
that-
something.
But like they used all the recordings of, for a little while, and they actually just had. Days like Archer Lost.
Yeah. Well, they I haven't watched all the new ones, but they haven't done that with her. They have a new person that's running the bureau or the place. So it's, yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, but like I don't know. I was really sad. I really liked her on there, and then also Arrested Development.
I don't think she was on any that I disliked.
No, she's funny as hell. Okay, I want to smooth out this tongue, so let's put a reinforcement loop right here before we do that. And then smooth. Object mode. Smooth. Smooth. And then put that little indentation right here on the top of the tongue. It's right there. You know what else we need in the mouth? We need a uvula. Now, is anyone ever going to see the uvula? No, but it'll be our little secret.
Oh, no,
What?
trying to round off something, I realized I took it off.
There we go. Now he's got a uvula. That'll be our secret. And now his teeth are sticking out of his mouth. Pull those back just a little bit. Pull his lips just a little bit more forward. All right, cool. Any questions at this point? These are so stumpy. This is bugging me. All right, mesh tools, smooth.
two.
And right here, I was kind of pinching a little bit when I was looking at it in smooth view. Okay, that looks a little bit better. All right, let's give him some hair. So this is going to be interesting. I've been thinking about how to approach this. So what I want to do, or what one way I'm thinking of doing this, is by taking and doing the extrude along a curve method. It's been a minute since I've done that, so let me run through and make sure I remember how to do it. So you're going to take basically a cylinder, cut off the cap and cut off the main body. And we'll say we'll do okay. We'll just do 3 of these. And then we'll go ahead and combine them. And then center pivot. Actually, the pivot needs to go right here in between them. Okay. So there's my cylinders right here. I need to go to my create curve tools, EP curve. And I'm just going to go ahead and make, actually, you know what, let's do it this way. Just do it straight off the head and see if I can get it to work. All right. I'll pick this one. I'll put this right here at the origin. Actually, let's subduct it just a little bit. And then I'm going to select the EP curve that I just created. And I should be able to go to edit mesh, extrude. Transformations. It should extrude. What am I missing? Well, you know what you do if you don't remember something? You look it up. extrude along curve, Maya.
In face mode, go ahead and select our face. And now we have our face selected, hold shift.
That's
and
it.
Select our curve, head up to edit mesh. Extrude, and just click the little options button. For this to work, we need more divisions than one. The more crazy the curve, the more divisions we're gonna need. I'm just gonna set mine to 10, which should be plenty for this example. Now, under curve settings, just make sure you have selected checked, as we want to extrude along our selected curve, and go ahead and hit apply.
Okay, so it looks like I probably just need to have faces selected. So let's try that one more time. Edit mesh, extrude. Selected. There we go. All right, and then divisions. The more divisions we add, the better it looks. So we can do 100, that's pretty smooth. And then the thickness offset. And okay. And I should be able to twist this too with the curve. So let's grab. There it is. So if I go under the inputs after I did the extrude, right here where it says twist, I can twist the strand. So it's going at 180 degrees. Let's do like 1080. And you'll see it kind of starts looking like braided rope. Okay. Maybe a bit much. Yeah, it could work. Yeah, that's just basically twisting it all the way down. And then taper. Let's see what that can give me. There we go. Taper it down towards the tip. Okay. Hope you feel well, or hope you feel better. All right. So that's like one hair. Now, the fun thing with this system is once you have this set up, let's see, let's put this on its own layer. I can grab that curve and then grab curve points. Okay. Where's my curve points? Here we go, these little control vertices. And that allows me to repose the hair as I need to. So if I turn on soft select, I can grab a number of these, move them around. So if I'm happy with this hair, I can duplicate it, move it over. So I can move over a little bit, grab that curve. Still control it. So you create just a whole bunch of these as you want to. So, any questions on that approach? No? Good. Okay. Let's try a little style. I'll flatten this out. This one's not necessarily going to be a twist, but maybe something that looks a little more anime-like. Grab some faces. I just need just the ones on top. Sure, I don't have anything on the bottom. Nope. Okay, cool. Grab the curve again, do edit mesh, extrude. Add some more divisions. It's kind of like I think it flips the topology here for some reason. I'm not sure why. So that's why I usually go through and I'll do it like with just this one set of faces at the base. So I'm not sure why it's doing that. You may run into this. Likely just delete that. I know it should be fine. Put you on a thing. Down to poly extrude. And let's play with that taper. Yeah, there we go. Kind of reminds me of the that wrestling anime, like Ultimate Muscle,
Yeah.
like the little
Yeah.
dangly bit of hair. Okay. All right, let's flip these over. Let's see, edit, duplicate special. All right, group them. Duplicate special. Now we're getting a bit more. It's a really weird haircut, but I'm gonna go with it. He has some bangs in the front, braids in the back, and there's like nothing in between, just shaving the head, but you get the idea. All right, you guys want to talk about clothing? Yeah. Okay. So, with clothing, I think honestly, what's gonna be the easiest approach for y'all is you're gonna have your body finished by the time you get to this point anyways. Let's do here. So what you'll do is go ahead and take the main body and you're gonna hit this little magnet right here. And that's gonna turn the main body into a live object, which means we can model directly against the body. Okay. And we're gonna grab mesh tools, quad draw. And then make sure you have object X turned on. And we're gonna go and start modeling. Let's see, what would be the lowest? I guess his shorts would be like the lowest pair of clothing that he has. Because it's gonna be shorts, banana hammock, and then the belt. Well, he also has boots on too. So we'll have that. I need to do his chest hair at some point too. But we'll start off with this. So we'll do the shorts. So start in the center. And just like with the quad draw before, I'm just gonna work my way around and start pulling out that first, or start working with that first edge loop. But now, since we actually have a live object, I can actually go directly against the actual surface instead of going against a flat plane. So it makes it a little bit easier. Now, make sure you guys are following good topology rules as you're doing this. So we want to have edge loops going in the right direction, especially through the groin and through the legs. And I'm almost just basically just tracing what we've already done. And then start filling in. Don't like that. Let's get rid of this one. I want a clean face look going around those thighs. Right here, I need to have. Let's see, word. Spit that out a bit. Careful when you're smoothing this out. It's like this one's trying to kind of get a little wrapped a little weirdly. Actually, might not be a good good direction for that topology right there. So might be better if this was actually split. So I'm put another edge loop right here. Let's do one right here. So we're going to split that single face loop into two. I'm gonna have to get rid of something here. Okay, there we go. I think that should give me enough flexibility. So I just did a little corner to corner right there, because I was gonna end up with an end gun if I wasn't careful. Smooth out, smooth out, smooth out. All right, cool. He's got underwear. All right, so what I want to do is just kind of extrude out just a little bit for the shorts. So I'm going back to object mode. I'm grabbing the edge right here that's going to be part of the shorts. I'm going to hit extrude. And I'm going to just move these down. Okay. Let's see. Just trim down. We go back to quad draw. You'll see we just kind of extrude them out a little bit. All right. So same as before when we were doing some of those extrusions, I'm actually going to take this edge loop and even it out. You can try by doing a scale. However, your mileage may vary depending on your geometry. You'll see it's trying to like do some weird stuff as I'm going. Robert, would you mind closing the door for me? So I'm just going to kind of move this edge down towards the knee or right above the knee. And I'm just moving the individual vertices around. Not a lot of space in here. I'm going to throw an extra edge loop there and an extra one here. So that's fairly even. So the reason why I did that is because it just makes it a lot easier for me to then just go in and drop in some more edge loops, and those will automatically accommodate the curvature of the leg muscle. So I spent some time down here on the bottom, but that pays in dividends because I'm going to spend less time up here on the thigh and not moving around vertices as much. And just go in and relax. Relax the topology. So some of these areas here was kind of bunching up in here. Just go in and relax it. Throw in an extra couple edge loops, put one down here. Put one up here. It's really just trying to get that curvature just right. Okay. And I feel like it's been a really just an inordinate amount of time on the butt area, but okay, there we go. You'll notice as I'm sitting here smoothing, it's kind of taking some of these edges from areas that maybe have a bit more of edge looping, and it's kind of moving them around to areas that are a little bit flatter. So it's kind of just, if you just kind of sit there, you can kind of smooth it to where it'll accommodate the curvature of the leg pretty well. All right, so those are his pants. Real same, but they're literally sitting on top of the mesh. They don't even look like they're sticking out. So you're right. So we need to go ahead and turn off live surface. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit extrude, Control E. And I'm gonna extrude them out and give them a thickness. And that's gonna be a shorts. That is basically going to be your approach for the rest of the clothing. That's pretty much it. If it's stuff that's not skin tight, you can free model it if you want to, or you can use this approach. And then once you're at this point, you could turn off live surface and kind of pull it away from the surface of the skin so it has the wrinkles and folds that you're looking for. I might suggest doing it actually before you extrude, because that's just gonna be more topology you have to work with. All right, so his banana hammock thingy, let's go and make that. It's just gotta be, this is gonna be the live surface. Hide the shorts. Wendingen.
Line 360,
You're what?
line 360.
What's Life 360?
Tracking now.
Are you still alive?
Yeah, they're good. They just left home.
Wait, it just brings up more questions. I thought this was a tracking app for like your health stuff and you said life.
No, the tracking app for like people.
Oh, you're tracking people?
Yeah,
Yeah, like you're welcome.
You track people?
I have one with my family like, back home.
Oh.
And I have one for like the people like we like that live with us. Like we all have each other on like 360. So like my boyfriend has it, and then my roommates have it, and their significant others have it. Because we all live together.
Okay. All right. There is his very basic outline for his clothing or for his suspender clothing. So I need to take these suspenders and they're gonna have to go on top of the shorts. I'm gonna do that before I extrude. Let's go and grab, let's start down here. Oh, I should turn that off. And just kind of pull it out like that. Then extrude outwards. There you go. For the boots, I'm gonna take a different approach. So for the boots, this is when I first started modeling, my professor told me to make clothes, just select the topology that's the clothes and then just delete everything else. I was like, okay. It works, but sometimes your topology doesn't really support that. But in this case, the boots, that actually would work. So I'm gonna duplicate. I'm gonna go ahead and select. Let's see. Actually, this would probably be a good place to do the grow method. Grow selection, grow. And see, as I'm growing, it's gonna basically grab everything that's right there. So that's my boots. Since I made a duplicate. There's my, yeah. It's gonna be Control, right click, grow. And then Shift, grab the other faces. and then delete them. And that's basically inversing your selection at that point. And that's the boots. Strew them out a little bit. Now for the boots, I want to kind of give them a little bit of more defined cut up here. So I'm gonna put an edge loop right here at the top. And then you see when I smooth it, then it kind of like hardens that edge a little bit. Kind of sort of looks like rain shoes to me, but you get the idea. I do have some indications of some laces on here. I'm just gonna do some very, very simple laces. So for those, I'm gonna take a Taurus. And I'm gonna up the radius. Basically, I'm just trying to get this to be a little bit thinner. And then we'll shrink it back down. Really just kind of need like that curve right here. Start deleting some faces that I don't need. I kind of think I want to go a little bit thicker with those laces. Let's grab. Turn off symmetry just to be sure. I'll thicken these guys out. And let's grab these vertices. Put these boots on their own layer. Layering helps a lot when you guys are working with a lot of geometry that's kind of stacked on top of each other, so you don't accidentally like keep grabbing stuff. So that's gonna be one. And duplicate. And spin. Just gonna dip that underneath this one. Something like that. And then, I mean, a little more detail could be like putting in the eyelets for the boots. Something like that, just fitting it on there. And we'll do 1, 2. And 3 and 4. That's really simple geometry, but it kind of sort of looks, you know, kind of somewhat realistic. Yeah. All right, duplicate that. I'm gonna move it down one more. Cool. Group these. And let's go ahead and duplicate special. So tiny details, but they help. All right, let's do the belt. Again, using live surface. Use quad draw again too. it up here. There we go. All right, so see here, it's how it's kind of cutting through the belly. Let's throw in some edge loops to support that shape. And kind of smooth it out. All right, cool. So that'll be the belt. And we'll extrude that out. Probably a little thicker than some of the clothing would be. Actually, you know what? Now let's make sure we got this properly in front of the rest of the clothing. Let's go to modify center pivot. Okay. Okay, that's better. Extrude. There we go. Now he's got his belt. Put a couple of edge loops on the top and bottom, so we smooth it. Those edges stay nice and crisp. Here, here. Cool. So we need to go and do his little jewel right here also. So let's do, I'm actually going to do a cylinder. And this is gonna be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided cylinder. So I'm gonna go down to inputs, change my subdivision axes from 20 to 8. And I'm gonna need to get that cap to basically the cap of this cylinder to look just like this one, and it should be honestly pretty easy to do. Just delete those faces. And turn off that. I'm gonna do a fill hole. And I'm gonna extrude in. Let's see. Oh, actually, this is 8, but I need it rotated. There we go. That's what I was missing. What is it gonna be? 20? Let's see. 360 divided by, I'm sorry, not times 8. So 45 degrees, I think. So half of 45 is gonna be 22.5. There we go. Cool. So I need to get that. Basically, I need to get a flat side on the top and on the bottom. That's what I was trying to get. And modify. Yeah, modify freeze transformations. And I'm gonna take these 2 points, merge them together, merge to center. These 2 points, merge to center, merge to center, and merge to center. So you see now we're getting that same pattern that we were getting here on the drawing. And then this should come out just like that. And just kind of embed that into his belt. All right. So that's pretty much the character. There's a lot of stuff here in our outliner and a lot of extra layers and stuff. So go through, and before you're done, just get rid of some stuff that you don't need anymore. Like go under file, optimize scene size. And then do an edit, delete all by type, history. And then just kind of organize things and name them so it's a little bit easier to find them. Okay. This is going to make things a lot easier for you when we get into rigging. There's a lot of naming and renaming things in there. So we want to keep stuff organized as much as possible. So for this, I'm going to do rename it body geo Let's grab all the hair. Go to mesh. Fine. And we'll just name that hair geo. For the right eye, I'm gonna do right eye group. Left eye group. And inside of there, we have individual pieces of geometry, so we'll grab those. Right eye. Well, base, I guess. Right pupil. Left eye base. Left pupil. I don't need that bar anymore. Let's see what else we got. Okay, boots. Boots geo. Let's see. Okay, that's right. I don't need these eyes. Get rid of those. Tongue geo. Bottom teeth geo. Upper teeth geo. And then all of these pieces, I'm gonna go and just combine them. And that can be like left laces geo. Right laces geo. Dual geo. Belt geo. Shorts. Suspenders. I think that's pretty much everything. Again, delete all by type history. That'll get rid of a lot of these transformations that are sitting in your outliner. And also grab your geometry and do a freeze transformations on it. Except for the eyes, if you're doing the method that I was showing you with doing the groupings, you actually want to keep the transformations on those, so don't mess with those. So we go to modify, freeze transformations. And I'm gonna group everything together and then call it David Geo Group. And then I have some extra curves in here. I don't need them. And save it. And there we go. That's the character. You guys have any questions?
Oh, one thing I was thinking about it for mine, I was trying to phrase it. Like I was kind of modeling, I was kind of thinking about doing a thing with my eyes similar to, you're familiar with the videos of, Miss Fitters, how her glasses are her kind of de facto eyes.
Mhm.
And I was just making sure that like, you're not required to have like actual